Manchester United lost 0-2 to Newcastle United. Another defeat. Another sad day for the Red Devils supporters. But the bitterness lies not only in the scoreline, but also in the way the team was dominated by their opponents right on their home turf. As for Newcastle, they came, played a powerful, sharp game, and left with 3 well-deserved points. This is already Man Utd's 5th defeat in December. Shocking, isn't it? But it's the truth. The team that was once the pride of English football is now lost, weak, and no longer holds its authority at Old Trafford, the place once known as the Theatre of Dreams. Newcastle, on the other hand, delivered a convincing performance. They didn't just win, they dominated. 2 goals came in the first half. And if it weren't for Alexander Isak's lack of finishing touch in front of goal in a few other situations, the scoreline could have been even more devastating for the home side. Manchester United, record-breaking, but not in a good way. Can you believe it? Man United is rewriting history, but for all the wrong reasons. December 2024 will be remembered as the month the club suffered its most defeats in a single month since 1962. That's a time when England hadn't even won its first World Cup. Furthermore, they've just endured 3 consecutive losses at Old Trafford without scoring a single goal. You have to go all the way back to 2015 to find a similarly dismal period. And that's not even mentioning Newcastle, a team they historically dominated, who now seem to control the game whenever they meet. From last season's Carabao Cup to the recent match, Newcastle has shown that the gap between them and Man United has now reversed. Looking at the statistics, things become even more depressing. Against Newcastle, the Red Devils only managed 3 shots on target throughout the entire 90 minutes. They lacked rhythm, ideas, and allowed their opponents to completely control the match. Even players like Casemiro and Eriksen, who are usually reliable, became shadows of their former selves. Newcastle's transformation and rise to prominence. While Man United crumbles, Newcastle is surging with strength. Remember, this is only the 2nd time they've won at Old Trafford in the last 40 years. And the way they achieved this victory is truly impressive. Newcastle's first half was a perfect display. They played fast, decisively, and effectively. Alexander Isak opened the scoring after just 4 minutes with a neat header. Not long after, Joelinton doubled the lead following a beautiful assist from Anthony Gordon. Gary Neville, a former Man United player and current commentator, had to admit on television that it was a true blitzkrieg. Newcastle completely dominated the midfield, with Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes eclipsing Eriksen and Casemiro of Man United. The key point here is that Newcastle didn't just win because Man United played poorly. They won because they have become a truly top-tier team. They possess a well-rounded squad, a sharp playing style, and an excellent coach in Eddie Howe, Lisandro Martinez, and the defensive disappointment. With the defeat comes the dissection of the causes. Attention turns to a defense that conceded goals far too easily. What happened to Lisandro Martinez? Once a reliable warrior in Manchester United's backline? Yesterday, he wore the captain's armband. A great honor, but his performance was difficult to watch. Look back at Man Utd's 2 conceded goals. For the first, Martinez allowed Alexander Isak to get past him as if he were running through an open field. The play not only lacked decisiveness but also showed that Martinez seemed to have lost his positional awareness. For the second goal, Joelinton practically bullied him in the air. His small stature is a factor, but the lack of confidence is even more worrying. The culmination came in the 61st minute when Martinez received a yellow card for a sluggish tackle. Ruben Amorim didn't wait any longer. Just 4 minutes later, he substituted Martinez for the young Lenny Yoro, a decision that required little explanation, as Martinez was clearly not up to par in this match. But for someone once considered a rock in the defense, this substitution felt like a slap in the face. Joshua Zirkzee and 33 forgettable minutes. If Martinez was disappointing, Joshua Zirkzee was the embodiment of offensive impotence. He only played 33 minutes. Yes, only 33 minutes before being substituted. A move that was even cheered by the home crowd. Can you imagine that feeling? A player leaving the field before halftime to the delight of his own fans. Xerxes looked completely lost playing as the number 10, a role typically filled by Bruno Fernandes. During his time on the pitch, he completed only 3 passes. 3 passes for an attacking midfielder is an unbelievable statistic. As he left the field, Xerxes walked straight down the tunnel with his head down, not even looking at anyone. He didn't reappear on the bench until the second half, his head covered with a coat, looking like someone who wanted to disappear from the world. However, Joshua Xerxes doesn't deserve all the blame for his disappointing 33-minute performance against Newcastle. In reality, he was the victim of a somewhat risky, or frankly, slightly arrogant decision by Ruben Amorim. Put yourself in Amorim's shoes. Without Bruno Fernandes due to suspension, he had to find someone to fill the number 10 role and lead the attack. With the available squad, Xerxes was practically the only option. But putting a player unaccustomed to a creative roll-up against the trio of Tonelli, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton was like throwing him to the wolves. Moreover, Amorim also started Christian Eriksen and Casemiro as a central midfield pairing, 2 aging players facing Newcastle's energetic midfield. This decision left Man Utd's midfield completely overrun. Xerxes didn't receive the necessary support from behind and had to fend for himself under constant pressure. During his 33 minutes on the pitch, he was like a swimmer caught in a flood without a life jacket. Substituting Xerxes early for Kobbie Mainoo was Ruben Amorim's attempt to regain balance. Mainoo, with his youth and mobility, somewhat relieved the pressure from Newcastle in midfield. Casemiro moved to the left. Eriksen pushed higher up the pitch to play as a number 10. And the team immediately had a dangerous shot from Højlund just minutes after Mainoo came on. So, was Xerxes' mistake really that significant? Or was he just a part of a plan that wasn't effective from the start? Perhaps Man United fans should show more empathy for the young player because, after all, it was the team's setup and Newcastle's dominance that led to Man Utd's disastrous first-half performance. Newcastle's midfield dominance, the knockout blow for Man United. If you had to choose Newcastle's biggest strength in this match, it would undoubtedly be their midfield. They didn't just win the battle in this area, they dominated it. Sandro Tonelli, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Linton not only controlled possession but also turned every touch into a statement. We are stronger, we are faster, and we are better. Take the second goal as an example. Tonelli combined with Guimaraes in a 1-2 pass to completely bypass Casemiro and Eriksen. Then, Guimaraes played the ball out wide to Anthony Gordon, who provided the assist for Joelinton's header past Onana. It was a move that showcased Newcastle's class and fluidity. Since Tonelli was brought in to play in the number 6 position, Newcastle has been transformed. They not only defend better but also generate an attacking force from deep midfield that opponents struggle to contain. In their last 5 Premier League games, they have conceded only 1 goal while scoring 16. A truly remarkable feat. A stark contrast between 2 sides. It was another evening where everything went against Man United. A leaky defense, a weak midfield, and a toothless attack. Meanwhile, Newcastle played like a true top-tier team. Ruben Amorim said that his team needs a shock to wake them up. But is this shock coming too late? And Newcastle, they are on their way to new heights. Performances like this not only demonstrate their ongoing development, but also affirm their status as a new force in English football. Ruben Amorim steadfast in difficulty. But is MU at risk of relegation? Ruben Amorim is a person who is not afraid to take responsibility, and has clearly affirmed his point of view after Manchester United's series of disappointing matches. He said frankly, "Either continue with my philosophy or they change the coach." This is not stubbornness, but a strong belief that his methods will bring results if given patience and proper support. Ruben Amorim does not hide the fact that the team needs a shock to change. He even mentions the risk of relegation, a seemingly far-fetched idea for a team that was once the pride of English football. But look at the standings. 14th place with only 22 points after 19 rounds makes people wonder. Is Manchester United really sinking into a crisis that could lead to tragedy? Despite the team's current disappointing form, Ruben Amorim still defends his football philosophy. He believes that everything needs time and trust. After 2 years of playing a certain system, they are used to it, but still losing. We have to change from the roots, not just patch things up. This shows that he is not simply fixing short-term mistakes, but wants to rebuild the entire structure despite the pressure. However, the question is whether the team can hold on long enough for him to do that. Looking back at history, MU is not accustomed to relegation battles, but modern football has no room for prolonged mistakes. If Ruben Amorim cannot turn things around in the coming rounds, the risk of falling into the danger zone is real. And then, whether to continue to have faith in him or to find an immediate solution will become a difficult problem for the management. MU relegated? Sounds far-fetched, but with the current situation, anything can happen if the team does not quickly rediscover itself.